alternatives with all the rates for all the 4 insurance carriers available in the region, with an analysis that I do annually based on your actual enrollment and projected enrollment for your budgeting. And you didn't want me to come and present it, but then you asked me to come and answer questions. So I didn't bring anything except the renewal paperwork with me, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
So my biggest question is about the retirees. Now, I understand that we cover them, but there's an awful lot of money on retirees. Now, doesn't Medicare, this is what I can't grasp. Medicare, is that what happens after 65?
Yes.
Yeah.
So are we double insuring these people?
No. Original Medicare they're entitled to it. It's issued to them by the federal government. It is hospital and medical coverage only, but original Medicare does not have prescription drug coverage, which is required, otherwise you'll be penalized, nor does it have any safety net protections for out-of-pocket maximums, your costs out of pocket. So original Medicare pays 80%, and the members are required to pay 20% limitless with no limit in sight. Most people do not just have plain Medicare for that reason. There's a lot of gaps in original Medicare. The town has everybody on what they call a supplemental or gap policy, which covers those gaps. And then additionally on a prescription, instead of an actual prescription drug policy, because they're no longer issued to employer groups, they got rid of the products, but they're still available to individuals to purchase, of course, because it's required by law. So the town had made the decision to give an allowance through an HRA for those members to go pick up their own prescription drug plans, and the town would reimburse them up to a set amount of money for their premiums and or out-of-pocket costs per year. So every single Medicare retiree meets with me annually, goes through all of their medications, and we identify the most appropriate prescription drug plan, most cost effective, and I make sure that they're enrolled in their plans and that they're utilizing and getting their HRA funds when their debit card doesn't work or something's happened. I've been working with every single retiree for that specifically. The town does have the employer group sponsored supplemental plan. The bill comes here, they're all enrolled in it, and it's just handled here at the town as a single bill.
Okay. Anybody else has questions?
So why don't they go out and buy a Medicare Advantage plan through MVP or CDPHP? And that includes your prescription drug, your eyeglasses, dental, everything.
They could, but
That's a heck of a lot cheaper.
so what the
because
town
zero.
what the town was giving them in their union contract, and this is just historical information, is they were entitled to the town's current health insurance. And at the time, I said, why are you, they have to go get Medicare, otherwise they'll be personally penalized.
Right.
And the town was paying as much as they're paying for these active members. And I said, well, we shouldn't be doing that. So the town already had set up a Medicare Part B reimbursement anyway, because they have to have it. But to save the town from paying what these active members are paying and all of their out-of-pocket costs, which was a high amount of money for that many retirees, we implemented an employer-sponsored Medicare Advantage plan. It was a very rich plan, but the cost started to creep up to the point where it was $500-600 a month. So the town then pivoted and said, listen, we don't want to pay $600 a month for this. Why don't we just give them a supplemental plan and cut our costs and give them some money towards their drug plan, which saved the town even more money. If some other towns do that exactly, they just give them money and say, here's what we're going to give you back your Part B, every year, and we're going to give you a set amount of money. Go pick your own plan, and that's that. We're out of the game, right? So the problem with that at this juncture with this particular set is that they have not an Advantage plan, they have a supplemental plan, meaning they can go to any Medicare provider across the United States. If you put them in an Advantage plan, they are restricted by network and also by where they live. And they have out-of-pocket costs that are $6,000 is the least, $9,200 is the most for their medical out-of-pocket cost share. And then another $2,100, which will be $2,400 next year for out-of-pocket drug costs.
Out of pocket?
Mhm.
I,
Currently, under their current plan, their only out-of-pocket medical cost share is the Part B deductible, which is $283 for the year, and an up to a $20 office visit copay, $50 for the emergency room.
So those are the only three out of pockets that the members pay?
The members pay their $283 Part B deductible and their copays, and the town gives them an allowance towards purchasing their drug plan, which the funds are also allotted to be used for some out of pocket. So depending on the person, they may have money left over to pay for out of pockets, or if they have a very expensive plan, they have to come up with their own drug out of pockets because they're using the money towards the plan premium.
Erin, the problem is, this year it's $500,000. It's not sustainable.
Right. So that's not my decision.
I'm not-
Just, so you know, I'm just trying to give you the historical information of where they were and how they got to where they are and what the town is available to do, but legally or precedent wise, that is not up to me. I'm just
No,
here
I
to,
understand that, but I'm asking you for options. And if there are no options that you could tell me about,
that is your only option, is to say, okay, we're getting rid of the employer-sponsored plan, go get your own plan, which I would help them with. And either you're providing some financial assistance in that process, or you're not.
Well, we kind of have to because the collective bargaining agreement says that we have to.
Correct.
So, I have one question. So, and I know you don't have a magic ball, right? I apologize if me or anybody else here makes you feel like it's your fault that we're paying.
Yeah.
Because that's stupid. But this year, double-digit increase. Last year, the last couple of years. Do you foresee that ever changing? Like we can't keep kicking the can down the road.
Well, when the state of New York finally gets the market share that they're looking for, it will go to single payer. And that's why you see all these rates going up. It was designed for that reason. They built it so that it would break, so that now single payer is attractive to people because they could never pass single payer before. So once it hits that, and we're talking about the commercial renewal, which is September 1st.
Single payer, could you just explain?
Single payer meaning the federal government controls everything, not private insurers. The state wants to control the money and who gets it and how they get it. They think that that these insurance companies, by the way, I'll just explain, every single premium dollar that goes to an insurance company by way of the Affordable Care Act rules, a specific amount, 80%, but our state said 85. So 85 cents of every single premium dollar that you pay goes directly towards the actual cost of care claims costs. If they don't, the insurance companies have to refund some of that money back to the employers. Of course, they have enough. They always make it. In the first year they didn't, they gave some refunds, but after that there were no refunds. The other 15 cents on top of that is to pay their administrative charges, their salaries, their R&D, their marketing, everything else. So they
Which
get,
in the grand scheme of things is billions of dollars.
oh, and part of that is taxes. So everybody doesn't realize the state is taking taxes on these premiums. And they have a process in place. So our state is basically community rated, meaning our state sets, the rates. The rates are pooled by businesses. There's no difference from one company to another. It's the cost of care in a region for every employer. So the rate is the rate. It's very templated. It's not different from company to company. It's the rate is a rate for each company. So those rates have to go they were just submitted to the state for prior approval. The state, if it's an election year, the state will artificially suppress the rates, meaning that the insurance companies probably aren't even making enough to sustain what the claims costs are. And then when it's not an election year and they put in for these huge increases, everybody's like, oh, why are they making all this money? It's because they're trying to make up for the money they lost the year prior because they didn't get enough of the rate that they needed to begin with. So it just keeps going up and up and up. And so they keep adding additional things to this, which is a GLP-1 weight loss drug is $1,300 a month. Everybody wants one. The cost of a health plan policy isn't even $1,300 a month. So you want an insurance company to pay $1,300 for every single person for that a single drug. Imagine what the costs are to deliver care, provide medication to every single person pooled together, right? It's increasing. And then they say, oh, we have all these, mandates. We have to cover reproductive care. That's really expensive. Oh, we didn't get enough visits. Now we got to double the visits. That's another 2 to 4% onto all the rates. So every time they mandate another piece of coverage into the healthcare, the rates go up. So that's pretty much how it is. So, yeah.
I'm just so worried.
Right, well, one point I'd like to make, it's not your fault. I'm just trying to make a point that affects us, the board, and our budgeting. And
Correct.
our financial future. So I just took an extrapolation today for one of our highway employees. Any one of them, now their salary now is round number $50,000 a year. So let's just assume a 3% raise each year for 7 years. The salary would go from $50,000 to $61,500 approximately. So looking at health insurance for a family plan for an active employee, and it's starting at $24,000. Actually, it's more than that. But anyway, but if one assumes an 18% increase per year in 7 years, that premium will go from $24,000 to $76,500. 7 years. It's just totally unsustainable.
Yeah.
And that was the question, is that, the union contract is the union contract, but it's just not feasible.
But if the town is going bankrupt,
You can't make money exist that doesn't exist.
right?
I mean, doesn't the town, aren't the municipalities required to set aside specific money year over year? Like, for instance, my husband is a New York City police retiree. The city of New York has to accommodate all of those people and their program by placing a certain set amount of money so that it stays viable over time. Does the town have that requirement or no?
The county does, right? No, not the town.
I don't think there's a requirement. That's just good planning. And at the end of the day, the math can't math, right? So you can start doing that. But when your budget is limited, and I get frustrated when people say there's 2% tax cap. There's a tax cap that says that without a vote from the board, we can't exceed 2%. We can exceed 2% every single year. We don't. It's whether or not we want to.
Right.
Right. Trying to stay under a 2% tax cap and leaning out our budget like we have since I've been on the board and John has been here, which I always give him the credit for. You can't do that and keep bolstering your what is it called? Not surplus,
Reserve.
but reserve accounts to accommodate that. And I think that's that's the reality is there's gonna come a time where you're just gonna have to blow the tax cap if you wanna keep doing it. I wanna say just one thing that, and I'll finish with this, but the facts are, and this is on us, right? So not Mary Michael, but certainly on us. We spent over 2 freaking years trying to get a BOG fund set up and put out. Every meeting, half an hour. No offense, but we spend every meeting now spending a half hour talking about the water district and getting water. We spend one night, once a year, talking about healthcare. And then we're like, well, we'll just use reserve money and we'll pay for it this year. And then next year, you get, wound up because rightly so, it's a lot of money, right? We unfairly, I think, target her and it's her fault, and it's not. She don't make the rates. She's just selling the product. She certainly would sell us the best product if we had it. And we need to pull our head out of dark places and start really taking this serious if the town people want to have 7 guys working on the highway department. Because the way it's going and the numbers that he shares, we're gonna have 2 guys plowing the road, and we're gonna have a 2-hour-a-week highway superintendent because we won't be able to afford to do anything. And I think that, not that water is not important, we need to have water in a part of our community, but we need to make this a priority, whether we have public hearings to see what the people think. Maybe all the people come here and say, screw it, we like our guys, we like our roads, we like that, blow the tax cap and pay it. Or maybe they say we don't care about it, and we have to start looking at the next time there's a vacancy in the highway department, we eliminate it. But there's a cost to that, right? You can't eliminate it and be like, oh, we saved a whole bunch of money, and then have a 2-foot snowstorm and be pounding on Jason's door. I don't know why my road's not plowed, because we have to make sacrifices somewhere. And I don't know what the answer is to these. Like she said, it's clearly political and they're doing it to us for a reason. But we have a collective bargaining agreement that we're bound to, like, I'm not doing the next one, but the next people that do that need to really sit and look at the healthcare. And it's super easy for you to sit here and say, the next contract, we got to address this. But you start taking healthcare away from people, there's no reason to stay here. So now, not only you're not eliminating positions, you have nobody that wants to come work. Because the county is paying their healthcare. The state is paying their healthcare. So you have to go to 357 and work instead of Barger Road, or you have to go to 145 and work instead of Barger Road. Like, it's a big problem, and we need to start thinking, even if we put aside on the second meeting of the month to start brainstorming whether we hire a consultant. If it's you or if there's a third party consultant to help you with long-term healthcare plans, we hire engineers and freaking consultants for every single thing there is. Maybe it's time that we start hiring some people who are specialists at long-term benefit planning to help us through this thing and say, the roadmap may lead to in 5 years, you won't be able to afford it. And it's whatever, 7 years, you said? 7 years, we're not gonna be able to do it. So I apologize if you feel like you're
That's
being
okay.
attacked when you come here. I know that that's part of the job, but I know you're just giving us the numbers, and I trust that you give us the best numbers that we have. The retiree stuff, it's in the contract. And until we address the contract, but when you do that, you gotta be prepared for 24 people that come in here and then all their families that'll be like, you're screwing the retirees. Politics is a hard job. Can't make everybody happy, but we gotta start looking at it,
Yeah, and to Brian's point, historically, 15 years ago, the town was paying 100% of health insurance costs for employees, spouses, dependents. insurance, 100%, you know? And it's been reduced. Now there's a 20% copay for active employees. But still.
And
No.
50% for your spouse, you gotta pay 50% for your spouse.
Right.
Right,
And
which they
going
didn't do
forward, There's
before.
gonna be larger and larger copays. There's one part of the puzzle.
I mean, on the active side, we have made almost every change we could make, which was moving away from their platinum plan, which they had when I took this over, to moving them to a bronze plan, which is the least costly plan that you can possibly get, and pairing it with an HRA, and your HRA fund is still running below 50%. Meaning you're still coming out ahead because of that strategy. There's no, unless you have a PEO, join a PEO,
What's that?
professional employment organization, where they basically do all your payroll. They own your employees under their tax ID, right? The PEOs can consolidate multiple businesses and have self-insured products. But what happens with the PEOs, and I'm very involved because I lobby at the state level and the federal level, the state of New York is very well and aware of them. Basically, they're allowed to cherry pick all the good risk out of the community pool, which is another reason why the community rates are blowing up, because these PEOs, they get to look at everybody's claims for a year, and then they go, oh, this is terrible risk for us. We're going to give you a 60% rate increase. And back to the community pool, those high utilizers they know are back in our pool raising these prices. So you could, go for, they might be attractive at first, but until they see what your usage is, and we kind of know what ours is because we have the HRA reports. Small groups don't get access to their claims, but through the HRA, you can kind of have a little window. They would look at that, the demographics, the claim usage, and they would say after the first year when they wooed you into it, now you've moved your payroll and everything else, now they're like, oh, you're not good risk for us, and they kick you back out. And you're back worse than where you started. Unless your claims are running like at next to nothing, which they aren't, they're kicking you out. So on the group side of it, right, there's no place to go except to give people an allowance of money and have them go out and get their own plan. So a lot of employers, not just municipalities, but employers themselves are saying, I'm out of this picking of the plan game. We're just going to give you a health reimbursement account, and we're going to pay an administrator a very low amount to manage it like you do now with your HRA, and go pick your own plan and just, this is our budgeted amount. Go get your plan that fits you and your needs, and this is our amount that you're getting returned through this process. I've been getting phone calls from every town that I don't even broker, freaking out about what are they going to do. The Village of Athens has got 2 people, and they're freaking out because they have 2 people now. They're like, what do we do with these people? So the town of Caro finally bit the bullet and just decided that that's what they were going to do. They reimburse the Part B 2 times a year, every 6 months. And then they give, at the time that they made that decision, which was several years ago, Ted was in charge, they decided to take the highest costing Advantage plan, which at the time was like $78. That particular plan is now $84. That's their standardized golden rule plan. They give everybody up to $84 a month, and they pay it twice a year to go get their own plan.
$84 a month, but this is.
On
What
an
are you
Advantage
talking
plan. Now, on those individually purchased Advantage plans, the members have out-of-pocket cost shares that can go all the way up to $9,200 or as low as $6,000. So you might get a free health plan or a health plan that costs $84 a month, but the members have co-pays and costs that could bring them to that amount of money out of pocket. And currently, their only out-of-pocket liability is that Part B deductible and a $20 office visit. So you would be taking that, and also there's network restrictions. On original Medicare, it's any provider across the US. So you have people that don't even live here anymore that are utilizing doctors in the regions that they live in because they have original Medicare primary coverage, and your supplemental gap policy filling in the gaps.
Say, say you chose an Advantage plan. And we use Ralph Marsh, lives in Tennessee. Could we buy the Advantage plan there that he could use?
He would have to buy that. It's a direct purchase. It's not employer sponsored.
Okay.
I would assist
would
him in
just-
finding the right one and getting him enrolled, and then he would be submitting for his reimbursement. Whatever that reimbursement dollar is, it could be a reimbursement for premium. It could be a reimbursement for so much out of pocket, right? You have an HRA account already set up that you can change, right? So you're not going through a whole reset up of an HRA. You're just like, hey, we want to renew our HRA, but we want to add, we want to increase the amount a little bit, and we want to add that they can have medical cost share, co-pays, deductibles, whatever applied to those out-of-pocket costs that are allowed.
How come I don't have any out-of-pocket costs with my Medicare Advantage?
You do.
I don't pay anything.
I
pay
know
the
you do.
copay.
There is no single Medicare Advantage plan that you can buy direct that has no out-of-pocket costs.
Okay, if you're calling a copay, I mean, at the hospital, I had to give them $175.
Okay, there's an out-of-pocket cost.
That's about it. So then you get.
Your
a
primary care is free on most of them,
$250,000
but the average specialist visit is $35.
for
in-
specialists and
The
zero for
inpatient
doctor.
hospital co-pays are estimated around a $2,100 per admittance because it's per day, so much per day for so many days. The average is $2,100 per admittance. If you have any injectable therapy on an Advantage plan, it is an immediate 20% cost share. After 2 chemo visits, you would be at $6,000 or higher, $9,200 if you have the other plan. Right, so X-rays, high-end imaging, $175 to $225 copay for an MRI.
I just had 4 of them. I might have paid $50. No,
Yeah, MRIs are more than $50. X-rays and CT scans might be $50, but MRIs are higher. And so for some of the, just to protect, I mean, I am protecting the town's pool like you have no idea. I have enrolled almost every single retiree into the New York State EPIC Assistance Prescription Drug Assistance Program. I don't get paid to do that. I don't get money on it. I don't make commission on it. I enrolled them so that they would keep their out-of-pocket prescription drug costs down and savor that HRA fund for the town. So I have done everything I can to protect your HRA pool. Some members, I have even assisted in obtaining, so every single hospital, and I tell this to every customer that's Medicare eligible, I tell them every time, every hospital has an internal assistance program that is separate and beyond the Medicaid system. And their income levels are much higher than the Medicaid system. So if you sign up either at the time of service or any time in the year, it covers you for the calendar year, and they may either completely wipe your copays or lower them because it's a specific program in the hospital that's run. They're still billing your insurance carrier, but they're eliminating or reducing your copays on your plan.
okay.
So I have been working with I talk about all their healthcare stuff, and I identify every single person that's got things going on or expensive drugs, and I'm putting them on all these programs to protect the town's pool of money. And the only place you really have to go is to kick them off an employer-sponsored scenario, have them go get their own plan, and just budgeted amount of money for them to be reimbursed for it. That's your only place to go for the Medicare people.
Okay, so what was the projected increase in our costs, our healthcare costs this year?
7.5%.
So I didn't bring that. I had brought to the plan
The increase, the
comparison.
percentage.
I think it's on that, I didn't bring that page with me.
Yes. 17.7%.
What was it last year? It was 12, wasn't
I didn't bring last year's.
It was
it? Okay.
And I think I gave you some information about your HRA.
No.
I always pull your HRA reports and put your actual year-to-date usage for this particular year on here, so you kind of know between what you've allotted and what you spent. For instance, for the retirees for their drugs, you allotted $36,000, you've only spent $13,000.
Aaron, do you ever do consulting for employers and municipalities?
I mean, that's what I'm doing now for free as your broker. I make commission off of the products. It's a
Okay.
standardized commission from all the carriers. They're community rated. There's
Is
only
there
four.
Such a thing as a third-party consultant that does it?
I mean, so a third-party consultant, they charge money,
Of course.
a lot.
Yeah, we love paying consultants and engineers.
Yeah. And what they would do is come up with the same information, because this is all community rated
Right, no,
release stuff. The only,
Please, I'm not
No.
suggesting, I'm just,
the only extra thing that they would actually do is they would take in other components besides the healthcare and come up with a strategy of overtime, how to, with your union negotiations and their salaries and, everything combined.
Bill, in the union negotiations, it says under healthcare that retirees is to maintain the coverage that they had when they retired.
Is that in the,
Something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. It used to say specifically CDPHP, and I said, you got to take that out, because
If you negotiate the next contract and you took that out, like, is there a potential, I guess my question, to protect our retirees because they too have sacrificed a lot of years for the town? Is there a possibility that the union could be like, well, we're just gonna say, give the retirees $100 a month and that's what they'll get? Or do they, because they retired under that, like, that collective bargaining agreement's only a 3-year agreement. When you renegotiate it, you can put anything you want in it.
that's true. And a lot of what I was listening to, and I appreciate all the comments, it all boils back down to the content of the,
Collective bargaining.
correct. And it's a matter of negotiation.
But Brian, you brought up a good point. The union contract that was in effect when they retired, is that the one we're supposed to follow?
Well, the law is mixed on that. I can debrief you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not something that we can't solve today, but this is the challenges that we have and what, we need to have like a work group on healthcare, whether we do it, I don't know, like, you can meet too many times, but people need to be involved in it, and it doesn't just need to be the 5 of us, or the 6 with Bill, or 7 with Vicky.
And I'm happy to be in your work group and provide you with
Yeah.
everything you need.
Yeah, and I think to just be like, all right, sometimes I think that, more than a 15 or half-hour window for you to explain it to us once a year. If you sat down and we could just ask the questions, but I don't want to overstay our welcome or.
I'm happy to do it.
I know.
I'm happy to do it. I would invite it.
Okay. I think that we need to do it. Not that I want to spend any more time here. But
I mean, I live in this town too. I
Right, I
pay
know.
taxes here too, so.
yeah, no, I can appreciate.
And I
that.
gotta look at everybody when I go to the dump. So, and when they come by my house in the plow truck.
All right, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for everything you do for us. Go through this.
Thanks, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Well, when does a decision have to be made?
So technically, it's a little overdue because the town's active employees plan renews September 1st. So unless the town wants to do something in the next 2 weeks,
Well, you
then
just said it was overdue.
it is. It's usually due 30 days before the effective date. So it's a little bit overdue at
Okay.
this point. They give us leeway, but it wreaks havoc on your bill because their billing cycle at the carrier. So
It's
the
monthly.
And I'm speaking for me, you're gonna carry me out of here kicking and screaming. We're not changing healthcare plans 2 weeks before it's freaking due.
No doubt.
We gotta do work on that. So, you know, if we need to make a motion later or do whatever, or I'll make it, you guys can vote it down. But this is ridiculous to think that we would change something 2 weeks before.
It's not possible.
It's impractical.
And we did back up the renewal date to September 1st for budgeting reasons because we do have a nice window.
We need to take Randy's sheet here and hang it all over here, so every time we're in town hall, we see what it's gonna have. And make us do the things that we need to do to get the ship righted somehow. And look, there's gonna be hard choices that there's no way around it. So we're gonna piss off, pardon my French, but we're gonna, I don't know if that's French, but we're gonna make a lot of people mad no matter what we do.
Yeah. If they go to a union, hide it. So I worked with the town of Caro at one point when Ted Banta was there, and he tried to convince all of his union people to come off their union plan. And the union representatives were there so fast. And that's when I had done the same process with the high deductible. Well, the union has now adopted a high deductible plan with an HRA now too. The difference is that the union, if you allot money into their HRA, whatever's not utilized, the union keeps. So right now, the town keeps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, we need a motion to sign this.
I'll make a motion that we sign the healthcare agreement, the healthcare contract for our full-time employees or active employees, right? For the
And
next fiscal year, with the caveat that we immediately start making plans to have work groups to look at the long-term viability of our healthcare system, or healthcare benefits.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Okay. You have that paperwork?
I do. And this is exactly what I had emailed you.
Yep, I read these already.
Yep. There's been no change.
7:13.
August.
No.
That is your vision plan. This is your recertification, basically saying you're a small employer group. So initial.
Is there a lot more? Because.
Nope.
Okay.
And then one more signature here.
So Brian, with that caveat, that means you're gonna have to run again, right?
I'll do my last one.
This is your HRA renewal. And are you going to keep your funding, your HRA funding for the active employees the same?
At this point, we have no choice.
You're not lowering it or increasing it, right?
Definitely not increasing.
I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Sarah. Okay. Moving on to the minutes of the July 23rd, 26th meeting. I make a motion to accept those minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye, Brian abstain. There are no budget modifications nor transfers. I make a motion to pay or sign vouchers and bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Reports. The supervisor, I have a few things to bring up quick. We got $1,812 from Albany County for municipal assistance. That's all they said. So I have
That'll
no,
help the healthcare, you know?
Yeah,
huh?
that'll help with the healthcare.
Yeah. Speaking of the healthcare, I did, the union rep did come here. And their HR, so. Let me just get. That's the last one. So this was pretty interesting. So they would cap the employees' hours at 2,080 hours and charge $9 an hour, which is 18.5 about, no matter single or family. And the HRA is $2,000 a year, which we pay that and we do not get anything back. But so far this year, we spent 41,000 on the HRA. You said 12,000 or 13,000 before.
That was the retirees
Oh, well, I look at the retirees.
for the prescriptions.
Yeah, that was the prescriptions for the retirees.
So it's 41,000. Okay. So he went, but all employees have to be union workers, except naturally Vicky and Jason. So the HRAs, you don't, it's 2,000 times 7, so it's 14 grand a year that you pay them, and that's it, and they keep whatever's left over. The important thing is that every employee has to be a member of the union. Did you want to say something?
No, oh,
Oh.
sorry, I had the number out, I didn't know. if
What
you
is
still wanted it. So you had allotted $108,000 and you spent a total of $41,550 as of July 20.
41,000, okay. So, thank you. So of course, we have a couple of issues. Everyone did join the union that same day on Tuesday. There was 3 that didn't hand in their cards, they did that. But Tom was gonna look into, because they don't cover significant others. You have to be married to get covered. So apparently that's an issue in our shop here. And I told him he needed to get back to me by today, which he did not. So I'm assuming that because the significant others are not married, they're not able to do this. Which the employees were all excited about it because there's no copays. There's nothing coming out of their check. So some of them are getting $110 taken out every week. So they get 55 or more, $5,700 a year in their paycheck. So they just have to convince these people to get married, I guess. I did ask the union rep, so what happens if 6 of them want the plan and 1 doesn't? Because you always have somebody that's doesn't want it for whatever reason. And I'm not talking about the significant other, I'm talking about, and he says, he didn't answer me on that. He says, I want 100% participation. So, you know,
Can I add one more thing to the?
Sure.
In other towns, when the union is in place, if somebody retires under the age of 65, they get kicked off the union plan.
Oh, definitely.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So in addition to the union costs, we also have to continue to pay healthcare costs for Vicky, for Jason, and for any retiree between 55 and 65. So we would
Yes.
still have to have a healthcare plan. We just wouldn't have it on the 7 people that were there. And I'd also like to say that I did talk to a couple of them, and I'm slightly annoyed that he would give you this because it does not sound like they have any interest in it. So-
Because it what?
does not sound like they have any interest in the union plan. And not because they don't like it, but because nobody's come and talked to them about the union, what that healthcare plan offers. They're all very appreciative of the healthcare plan that we offer them. And they haven't heard, will this be covered? Can they go to this provider? Can they go to that?
So Tom did have a meeting with them on Tuesday,
Okay,
and they did have some questions,
okay.
which he was gonna go back and ask those questions.
Conversation I had took place on Monday, so.
But like I said, as of today, I did not receive a response from him.
You're not signing this tonight, are you?
Hmm?
You're not
I'm
signing.
not, no, because they're not,
All right.
they're not,
Their, and just, their HRA is giving them $2,000, but what is their out-of-pocket liability? Right?
that's
Yeah.
between them
I just
and
wanted
the
to
employees.
point that out because that's the key. Right now, you're covering the majority of their out-of-pocket costs. If they're only offering $2,000, what does their plan look like? What is their liability out of pocket? Right now, it's very close to nothing. So some people don't realize that those two correlate when they're looking at them. I just want to make sure that they're looking at that.
Yeah,
Well, when Brian and I were negotiating contract with the Teamsters, and we discussed health insurance at length at that time. And the policy offered by the union was very comparable to the policy we have as far as the out-of-pocket costs and the coverage at $6,000 and the $12,000 window is covered by the union contract. The policy was very, very similar to what we presently offer. There wasn't any great difference. Brian and I felt, well, I'll speak for myself, but the major difference was it didn't offer coverage once they left the union. So that could potentially put them into a real bind because if they left the union and after any number of years, they'll become vested. So if they left, then they would be without insurance, where now we offer a 10-year vested insurance, is it 10 years?
15.
15? Anyway, so I mean, those were the things, but the comparison, side-by-side comparison with the benefits was very close.
Right,
It wasn't that great a difference.
right. But they're giving them $2,000 and you're giving them $6,150.
Right, but they didn't have that, I don't know what you call it, but that window where there's a,
Oh, yeah, not the one thing we got into with Warren.
right, yeah, they don't have that in their policy. They didn't have that exclusion where it was the first $6,000 is out of pocket. They didn't have that out of pocket in their plan. So
Okay, so I want to.
anyway, we're moving on.
I wanted to report on that. Carolyn, we did, requested the removal of the payphone. Of course, we had to pay that, $250. 150, okay.
We have to pay and remove it.
I did test that, by the way.
Huh?
Phones do work up there, so even if you don't have a Verizon phone, any phone, you can call 911. So if there's
The $12,000 grant, I spoke to Cecilia and they sent me a contract to approve the ice skating rinks. But of course, I left a message for her. And as of yet, I haven't heard back. I did fill out the contract, I did sign it. So I don't know if we have to buy them first and have them here and get reimbursed.
Can you send me these contracts before you sign them?
I could send them to you after I signed it, because I already signed it.
I know, but no. The point I'm
Moving
trying,
forward.
thank you. The point I'm trying to make is, moving forward, can you send me the
Moving forward.
contracts
Yes,
before you consider signing them?
sure.
Like, I had no idea about this memorandum of agreement with the International Union of Operating Engineers until I stared at it in my packet. So, that's all.
Okay. So that's my report.
Make a motion to accept the supervisor's report.
All in favor? Aye. The accountant, did he leave us numbers? Yes. Okay, so basically that's a written report. That's. Bill, I don't have to make a motion to accept this, right? I mean, it's not really a report, it's something he does every month.
You should. Just make
Not
a
that
motion.
hard. I make a motion, we accept the accountant's report as provided.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. The attorney report.
My comments concern Dan. We're scheduling a meeting with the Pike, their attorney, John and I, to discuss the low-level outlet. And I'll let you know when that meeting schedules, hopefully within the next 30 days. That's it.
Make a motion, we accept the attorney's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vicky, did you get that email from Dave Poole?
We don't have a highway report, right? Okay, no report for the highway. Town clerk,
Same as always, everybody has the numbers for the month. Hunting licenses sales started on, actually August 3rd. Seem to be pretty much in line with last year's at this point. There's been a lot of changes to the permits and rules and regs in that regard. Deputy Town Clerk Melissa Davis has completed the Vital Records project. That turned out beautiful. Everything is categorized, filed, spreadsheet. It's a marvel, actually. And she has now begun organizing the ZBA files from the record room. So all the ZBA boxes out and is going through them for the final report. That's been challenging to say the least. And that's it.
Move we accept the clerk's report.
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Code enforcement, building inspector, he's just got 3 permits. 2 solar panels, 1 home addition. And make a motion to accept his report. All in favor? Aye. I did ask him to report on issues that he's having, so that the board is made aware of certain things that we know that's coming down the pipe. So hopefully I'll get better reporting. The assessors report is written also. For the month of July, you received a total of 8 transfers, 3 for estate planning, 3 residential, and 2 vacant. We've been busy processing reports for the September school tax. Enjoy. Peter Hotel. I make a motion to accept the assessor report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The Water Sewer Committee,
We'll try and keep it brief. We've got 2 pieces of paper for you. One was written by Ed Sukas, who has taken over the capital project. We discussed it with John, and he really has been in the lead on it since day one. So we're looking at that. That is, he's reporting via paper. He wasn't here tonight. He's on vacation. There's a written report if you'd like me to go through it. Otherwise, it's simple enough. You can read it. Okay? All right. That's going along quite good. I think that August is really going to be the turning point, and we should be looking at water surveys on the 2 target properties by September. That would be just a turning point for us, right? So we'll see how that goes. The second paper is written by myself. It's the advisory committee, and the first thing to tell you is we didn't meet in August because everybody's all over the country. It just was not worth trying to do. So we did not have a meeting. On the sewer district, nothing to report. On the hydrants, I talked to John about this, and Brian, we had a little conversation about it. We have discovered red paint. We've ordered the paint. We've got a solicitation up in the library for volunteers, and we hope to paint them. The problem with the painting is you got to prep them, and the prep is pretty significant. But that's all going forward, and that's not a big expense, so that'll be done. Along with that, though, is the issue of the poles, which isn't brought up here. I finally found out from Ken Repkema that the pole aren't going on to haven't been put on the old hydrants because the bolts that you need to loosen are just roughed. You can't get them off. So we've talked to Ed Hike, if that's the pronunciation. We're going to go forward and trying to figure out a way, but hopefully this fall we'll figure out how to get them off. And Brian, you had a suggestion about kind of figuring out a way to get some those extension poles up. We'll talk about it. But first thing to do, we want to clean up the hydrants and paint them. All right. The water update. As mentioned, number 1, Ed is going to go forward with reporting to you. You've got that. And number 2, Pete's aware of it. I found out. We met with John, Ed and I met with John, and we've been kind of stymied by the non-responsiveness of Andre Nadeau. He's a great guy, but I don't know what happened. So we're hoping, Pete, you can help us with that. We have any question, Pete? No?
No.
Okay. We have a survey that we've done, and we've got about 2/3 of the hydrants looked at, and I talked about it last meeting. We're going to really push hard to see if we can finish the survey by the end of August. It's really not easy to do because they're buried. It's treasure hunting half the time, right? Number 3, we had a DOH meeting. I did with DOH, Rebecca Reiling and another co-worker. Rebecca's really the key person. And I mentioned this to John. They came out very nicely and said that they're really happy with the work of the water committee. In fact, they actually said that most of the municipalities paid workers are not as good as what we're doing. So I feel we're doing pretty good there, right?
good.
We can do better. Rebecca wants to see the rate study. What does that refer to? That's an ongoing project with Syracuse University to figure out how we're going to bill once we get meters. Got a meeting on Monday with Rebecca Platel, and our lead on that has been Bruce McKenna on the committee. And we're going to get a report together next week, and we'll submit that to Rebecca, and that'll become clearer. And in September, we'll be able to tell you more about that, okay? The HABs monitoring, there's a link here to some tables we made up. You really don't need to look at them. But the good news is the HABs really haven't happened this summer the way we expected it. It seems that from the charts that we created, October is the big month. And on the charts, we had inspected 109 times in the past 10 months. 19 blooms, 12 of them were in October. So we're doing our job and we'll continue to do it. And in October, we'll actually increase the amount of time we're getting up there. We're getting up there 2 or 3 times a week. We're going to really try and get up there 5 or 6 times a week. It's just another part of what we're all volunteering to do, right? Number 5, Steve Reinhardt is our point person on the budget. Talked to John a little bit about this. We have a number of, number 4, I'm sorry. The clerk search will start in September. We have to, we've talked to Vicky. We have the specs on the duties of the clerk, and we'll be putting that into the proposal for next year's budget and hopefully hire a clerk starting next year, new clerk, okay? Budget number 5, specifically, Steve Reinhardt's working with us. We're still trying to negotiate internally how much for this, how much for that, and we expect at our September meeting to finalize our numbers for the next proposed budget. Lastly, as I mentioned, everybody's on vacation, so we really haven't gotten a lot done other than finding hydrant paint, okay? That's about it, okay?
Thank you very much. Motion we accept the water sewer committee.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you,
Thank
Jerry.
you, sir.
Library? No report. Okay. Under old business. We have to award the air conditioning bid. The lowest bid was through Nolan Propane. The second one was First Choice. Nolan was 59,000. First Choice, do you have them there? Was 65,000. They're both reputable companies.
First Choice was giving us Carrier air conditioning.
First Choice has given us Carrier. And
3 mini splits. I believe,
I'm sorry?
3 mini splits, right? Carriers. It's okay.
I don't know, Pete. You wanna look?
Yeah, I just wanna see what the.
And Nolan,
I think they're giving you 3 condensers, and then they're doing 2 wall units in here, an 18,000 and a 9,000. We're doing a condensing unit and a 27,000 BTU in the courtroom and assessor's office, and two wall units. And in the town clerk's office, they're doing an outside condensing unit, and they're doing 1, 2, 3 inside units. So that looks like a 9,000 in John and Carolyn's office, 24,000 in the clerk's office, 18,000 BTU in the courtroom, with 12,000 BTU in there. This one here is and they're pretty much exactly the same. All have 3 outdoor condensing units, 2 heads in here, 2 heads in the courtroom and assessor's office, and 3 heads in the other.
Who's do you got, Brian?
I have both.
Nolan?
I have Nolan and First Choice. And they're the same.
Oh.
Specifications were set that way, Brian.
Okay. So, and that's why it's. I didn't.
Except First Choice said that he was not aware of any brands that were actually 7,000 BTUs. There were only 9,000, so his are 9,000.
Yeah, there's a good chance that when Nolan comes in here, he's just saying 7,000 and he may have a 9, because if he puts a 9 in, nobody's gonna care. You know what I mean? He probably was more worried about saying the specs, so if it's meter exceeds 7,000, and you probably,
The specs actually came from his original quote.
yeah, no, just, maybe he has some, yeah.
Well, he's the only one offering us Carrier though, right, First Choice?
No, first, why do you care what the carrier is?
Well, it's one of the best units. The Mitsubishi and the Carrier are the two top.
No one doesn't say what he's offering.
I'm sorry, I missed something.
No, just talking about what the brand Nolan is offering.
It's not written, it's Fujitsu, it's not on here.
Oh, well,
Is it Fujitsu?
yeah.
Yeah.
Top of line.
Yeah. So then we'll go with him.
How do we pay for this?
So,
Both ones.
so I went over the budget, and what's staying in the budget, I should go get it. We have 30 grand from Vogue. We have, contingency, 25,000. And we have 13,000 in a building. Let me go, I gotta get the. Oh, you know this thing.
She's a town resident.
That's all, I'm on the Eagle Scout board in Greenville for Boy Scouts, and like, somebody needs a project.
Okay.
That could be a great project.
Or we could give them no air conditioning at all.
That's ridiculous. Spend $100,000 on blacktop, and I'm sweating my ass off right now, like, I'm putting air conditioning.
I say we go with no.
Building miscellaneous contractual, we've got 11.5 in the budget. Contingency, we have 25,000. And the Vogue, we have 30,000.
66.5, so you're covered. You got a few bucks left over, we can do something else. Pay for healthcare.
Yeah, put it towards healthcare.
Wait, wasn't the 30 also with the table though? Do we have any to get out?
Well, it was
of 30?
35,000.
Okay, okay.
We
I
took,
just wanted to make sure.
we took the money off for that.
Okay.
Do we have the money to do it?
We have the money to do
I make a motion that we go with Nolan propane for the heat, air conditioning.
I'll second that.
Are they the lowest responsible bidder?
it. Yes.
Yes.
The other thing I'd like to be able to do too, if we can, like, we need some planning on it, but I'd like to, try to track fuel costs, because, I'm pretty sure there's only one thermostat that runs this whole thing, correct?
2.
Two, here and then in your office,
So,
No, the hallway.
here and in the hall.
No, I thought there was 3 thermostats.
Oh, okay.
Courtroom hour also.
That's 4.
Okay.
4?
So it'd be really cool if you could do, we could set this to 50.
Mhm.
When you have mini splits, they run, so they'll run down to like -20. So there's no reason that this needs to be heated to 68 degrees or whatever it is all year long. We should get in the habit right off the bat of keeping this set at 50, close the door, right? I mean, if you gotta come in here and work, then you can turn it up, but the mini split, turn it on, this place will be set 68 degrees or 70 degrees, like that. And it's always heated to whatever it is, 68 or something all year long. So if we're responsible, I'm pretty sure with the fuel prices, we can almost pay off what we would save by not heating it. And the same thing, like the assessors in the court office, there's no reason, well, I guess you have a bathroom there, so you don't want to be freezing cold everywhere you go, but the assessor's office, when they're not in there, close the door, make sure the heat's down.
We can just use smart thermostats.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Use a smart.
Smart.
thermostat, yeah, have them all,
Set.
connected to your Wi-Fi.
So I think that it's, it's a big capital expense, obviously. I'm sarcastic saying that we buy all new garage doors and pave the whole place, but we sweat our ass off in a town board meeting. It's ridiculous. But at the same time, I think we can actually save a significant amount of money than heating the place to 70 degrees all the time.
Yeah.
It's baseboard heat, so you can't leave here at 4, 8, whatever time you leave, and turn the heat down, and then come in here tomorrow and expect it to be warm. You turn it back up, it won't be warm until
Mhm,
2 o'clock in the
it's a- yeah.
afternoon. So,
I see a greater advantage to doing this for the economy of the heat.
Yeah.
I think, to me, the economy of the heat is more beneficial than the air conditioning, so.
And I did speak to Matt about a different project that I asked him about. And he said that by having a supplemental heating system, because if it's 0 degrees out, it's gonna take a lot of electric to have those mini splits.
yeah, no, I
But,
think
so we're gonna use it like October, November.
my dad uses his religiously right up till Christmas. And then they go off and he heats with propane. And then probably March 1st, maybe April 1st, propane's off, mini splits back.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Save him talking. Cool.
so long-term, I think this is something that
You'll save money.
will save money and will make a more professional atmosphere. So we don't have,
I think it'd be more professional if Brian wasn't
Sorry.
here. Just saying.
okay. This draft request for proposal for the tennis court. So we have to. Let me just. But she's still waiting for the contract. Do you have that email here?
I don't think, no, I have the email, but it's not there. She's still waiting for the contract.
Can't hear you, Vicky.
She's still waiting for the contract, that is correct. She just wanted to give us a draft so that the board could start reviewing.
Oh,
So Pete and Randy, being you guys started this, is this something you could review?
Mr. Professional.
Isn't this what the state says has to be done?
yeah, did we have to request that from the state, or is that just automatically?
As I understand it, this is what the state demands in order for the grant to be approved.
So,
So I don't think we even have to look at it. That's the deal, and that's the deal.
so the grant came from these specifications.
Correct, but the grant is a county grant, right?
No,
Right, but I believe
Not a
that,
state grant, right?
No.
147,000 is not a state grant?
That's a county grant.
No. No, a county grant.
I was gonna
is-
say,
it's a
why do we
state
need
grant, it's a
contract?
state grant.
It's a state grant, that makes more sense, having a state.
Right. So as part of that process, the state's position is this is the specifications that have to be met. So
Right.
I don't think there's any review at all. If that's what it is, it's what it is. That's what they want.
Are you gonna put, playground equipment in here?
Playground equipment.
No,
No, it's just to do the tennis court.
This is just for
Tennis courts?
$160,000 tennis court.
Okay, just asking.
We got Billie Jean gonna.
Your sarcasm is immense.
It's gonna be a $200,000 tennis court.
Pickleball.
Just gonna give lessons on Saturday.
That Pete was gonna get done for like 15 grand.
Yeah. Well, we got quotes for 30. We had quotes to repave it and repair it for 30,000. So
Yep. It's unbelievable. Well,
it is, it's a change. And that's the,
Yeah.
5 years, big grass.
We've been over that.
You know, it's just a spec share for the paving. You know, 2.5 inches of a 10 mm binder and 15 inches of a 9.5 mm top course. Airport runways, 767s don't have 15-inch top courses.
They don't.
But this is for pickleball.
Yeah, that's gonna
Have
be
you ever
approved by
played
the
pickleball?
pickleball
Apparently,
association,
it's a pretty
so
violent sport.
I'll be able to sleep good at night.
All right, so we'll move on to the broadband update.
Are you gonna approve these specs?
Just like every other update we've had.
Do we-
Do we have to prove?
That's my
So,
comment.
I'm
She just
gonna-
gave- I thought she just gave them to us to look at them.
Yeah, I wanted to look at this because I just got that and we have to wait for the contract from the state before we push this out.
Which you'll get to Bill before signing.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Another contract.
Broadband, okay.
The broadband,
Yeah, it's not very comprehensive.
In 5 minutes.
I got Starlink, they don't ever have one kid.
I know.
So,
You like it?
Love it.
not for public.
just Kathy responded, not Hans.
She's the only one who reached out to because she was the one that gave us the last update.
Okay. So this is from Catherine, who's on the broadband committee.
Can we just attach that whole thing to the minutes and then we don't have to read the whole thing out loud?
It's very short.
It's 3 sentences.
Oh, it was? Oh, the one I looked at was long.
Well, I'd like to read the whole page. I'm just drawing. Mid-Hudson Cable is still on track for their broadband expansion completion by the end of 2026. And some work wrapping up in January 27. They're still getting pole approvals. They likely will be working in Westerlo sooner than other town because they've been working in that area for another grant that they received a few years ago. And that's all she's got to report. So, but you guys know we got fiber here. And we called the CIA security, Joe is gonna come and transfer our phones over. So we won't have that $257 a month phone bill anymore. And apparently we don't have to pay Mid-Hudson Cable because we have a contract with them. So,
Why does that sound too good to be true?
no,
It's an old franchise agreement from years ago.
Oh, and it'll carry over with the fiber stuff? Really?
And also part of that agreement, if I recall, which is they're supposed to provide cable to the firehouses.
We do. Yeah.
Why did she give us all Westerlo roads?
It was cable, like.
I don't see one road in Rensselaerville being extended or provided high-speed internet.
I don't have that.
Yeah, for
Where'd you
sure.
get that?
There was an address list of 800 or 900.
I've got the address list here and every one of them are.
I didn't get it.
I didn't-
I didn't get, there were.
Yeah, that was the
Your
email.
road is on there.
It showed every house in Rensselaer, which is, there was nine. Yours included.
Oops, mine?
I don't have-
When I see it.
I don't have any new business to discuss.
I
Does
have no
anybody
faith
here
in
have
Yeah.
new business to discuss?
I don't know.
No?
No, I don't want to talk about any of that.
Any other audience comments?
I have one thing I'd like to ask. So there is a problem at the Hilltown Commons with fire alarms. We're going there 2 or 3 or sometimes more a week for false alarms. I there's a whole nother conversation on what should happen to that. But with the town, and I don't need an answer today, but I'd like you to sit on it for, well, it won't be the next meeting, but the one after. Is there an interest, or if you said absolutely not, then it's not a big deal. Is there an interest in looking at a local law that would provide people with fire alarms,
Yes,
like one malfunction every 6 months, and
I say
anything
yes.
beyond that,
I know what you're gonna say. We just did this. We
you,
just talked about this.
you would
Where
get
they should
a
be
fine.
penalized.
Correct. And it doesn't, look, it's not, I use the state park police, for example. We go up there from time to time. It's for burnt food. If you have an alarm and you burn food, the smoke detector goes off, that's a legit reason. That's doing what it's supposed to. But at 2:30 in the morning, and it just continues, like I'm not a fire chief anymore. I know that everybody complains in Tri-Village, and I don't know what our chiefs are doing to address Rensselaerville to why we go there. But it is a overwhelming ask of the fire department. I mean, it's 2:30 in the morning yesterday. Like, your pager goes off, it wakes you up, you have to work, and now what's starting to happen is guys aren't going to the firehouse
Sure,
because it's a false alarm.
sure.
And then it is gonna be bad juju sometime because there's gonna be a real fire, and then nobody's gonna be going to the firehouse. You're gonna be 5-10 minutes behind the 8 ball, and fire doubles in size every minute. So I feel like there needs to be some sort of penalty to force people to maintain their fire alarm systems. And you don't have to be so strict, like every fire alarm is gonna be, they're gonna happen, they're gonna go off. The same thing happens here. But if there's a problem in 6 months and the alarm goes off and there's no reason for it to go off, then you need to call your alarm company and say, hey, we have a malfunctioning head to set the alarm up, come and fix it. There's a charge for that, obviously, but nobody wants to pay for it. They just reset the alarm, and then tonight when the alarm goes off again, fire sirens will blow around the town and guys will be driving, and in some cases, $1 million fire apparatus running down the road to a false alarm. And there's no bite to the bark that says, fix your stuff or we're gonna penalize you. So if that's something that you would be in favor of, I would be happy to look, because I know there are other towns that have those types of local laws. And maybe we could look at it and say, hey, you're gonna do this.
We have, as a town, we do a very poor job of having people pay for their mistakes,
So how,
for their
okay,
for their violations, for their building permits. I'm in Westlaw. I think I pay like $350 for a building permit. Tim collects $50. That's because that's what, for $50 that we're collecting, that guy supposedly goes out 4 or 5 times. That's a low amount. And we did that originally because, the people that live here grew up here. But what about all the new people coming in? And, $50, it's a joke.
It should be more than that for a house. It's substantially more, because I paid like $250 for a barn.
That goes vice versa.
Yeah. All right. You,
yeah, how prevalent are false alarms in town?
right now bad, like,
Other
only
than-
real tough comments. Other than that, there is not, from time to time, we get them at the Park Police Academy. But again, they wouldn't come under that because it's usually a culinary institute or a culinary mishap. Somebody will burn.
So it's a real event.
It's a real event, right? I mean, ultimately it's a false alarm, but there's a real issue that caused the fire alarm to go off. There are some other places, and I don't know the exact address. Like, we just went to one the other day. I think it may have been the church. Is that Trinity Lane up there at the bottom of Albany Hill? And that one was somebody working on the alarm and didn't, do it. Well, okay, that's only one, but if you're working on an alarm tomorrow, you just bought a fine for whatever it was. So,
So can can we do something where, and Bill, this is mostly directed to you, but can we say, if it's a false alarm, it's $150 donation to
That's
try
a fine, it's a fine. They
It's a
pay it to
fine.
the town could come up with something on their contracts with the fire departments, that if you collected them, you know, look,
I'm just
it's a whole
wondering,
nother issue, like, we have the Hilltown Commons, which is open up there, providing dinners and stuff like that, they don't pay land taxes or school taxes or anything. Like, they're not even paying taxes in for fire service. Now, they may make donations to Rinsable Fire, that's great, they certainly don't make them to Tri-Village Fire when we get an alarm drop up there and, you know, take off with a couple $1 million worth of fire apparatus. And that's no longer a functioning, not-for-profit educational place.
the property is on the Cary Center for Global
Yeah,
Good.
there's always a way around the taxes, I know.
Once again, I'll speak to, I've been there for dinner a few times and I don't know if I paid sales tax.
Well, I'm sure you paid sales tax on the thing, but overhead costs for that would probably be much less than somebody who has their own property and has to pay overhead. That would be a real question and a town question.
Make a motion.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Alright.
Motion carried. Thank you.
So, question, fire.
So